Today's review is for one of the worst albums that I have listened to in this series. It might be even worse than that Nickelback album. It's by the former batter heir of that ugly slut Rihanna from the last review. The name of this album is Exclusive by Chris Brown. Holy shit, open up a dictionary and you are likely to see a picture of this poser right next to the word boring. Aside from this guy sounding like shit and not having talent, he never does one damn thing interesting with his songs. Just his name puts one in an instant comatose. His fans are dumb, the ultimate lemmings of music aficionados. I was in high school not too long ago, and I recall hordes of these idiot girls who adored and wouldn't shut up about this bastard. I even saw some students wearing his face in their t-shirt. They also wore fake diamonds in their bodies, never did any schoolwork, and stank like a Barbie's ass. Then there's the title of the album, Exclusive, which is a buzzword used in business and marketing. Other than that, if I'm to see this word in the title of any other album, I'm likely to go in the other direction, because the word means nothing when it comes to great music. In contrast with the album cover with its cheap editing and font, I find it to be an oxymoron. And what the hell is he looking at? His pose is dorky. There's satellite dishes in the background and some fake gold millwork in the background that looks like it was bought from a chain furniture store. Again, I ask, what about Chris Brown denotes exclusiveness? There's not even anything appealing about him. The only reason we even know about him is because he beat up Rihanna. Now on to the actually recording. Most of what I heard was this dreadful noise coming out of his mouth. He can't sing. He's not even singing. It just sounds like he's on the toilet and he has rock hard shit stuck in his large intestine. 16 tracks, including 2 bonus tracks, and there's nothing but samey songs all throughout. Why bother making an album, if you have no more than 2 musical ideas? I doubt his fans care about anything other than the singles and his looks, because he's so-called pretty. On top of this, he's credited as a writer for only half the songs. There's only 6 songs on here that he's credited as a writer. Well, it's not as bad as Rihanna. He gloats about coming from the state of Virginia. Virginia? Nothing happens in Virginia. It must not take much to get Chris Brown excited. Despite having listened through this album no more than 30 minutes ago, I can't remember one single musical motif. There's nothing about the song wall to wall that I find appealing, yet the whole world thinks it's the shit. I remember first hearing this song in some video at school 2 years ago and the sound of it utterly repulsed me. There's an unwarranted amount of auto-tune on Brown's trancy delivery. The instrumentation is all fake and just full of cheap musical gags. The production was overly sheen, and I knew it was tweaked that way to make up for the low-level musicality. The artificial crowd sound in the third part of the track sounds very awkward and seems like it should have been more dense, but whoever the producer was, they blunted every instrument in this album, even Chris's voice. Gimme What You Got is elevator music within elevator music, holy shit. With You is one of the hit singles from this album. I recognized the sound of it from when I was on the bus in high school 2 years ago, because the idiot bus driver had no idea how to pick a different station, but in his defense, radio pretty much sucks these days and nobody has to bother with it, now that you can find new artists on YouTube and the rest of the internet. Everything on the radio is just a fragile atom within the world of music. I suggest anyone watching this video to avoid it at all costs. I digress. With You is unbelievably boring and it has the weakest chord progression of all the songs on here, but for some reason, it charted to number 1. This just goes to show people of today have flavorless taste. Just the sight of these people puts me to sleep. The last single from here is Kiss Kiss, which is partially a rap song and it sounds like the other songs. He tries to sound charming, but he just comes off as an annoyance. And there's the rest of the songs, past 7 or 8 tracks. This album is exhausting to listen to, since the next 7 songs are a regurgitation of the first 7. There's too much autotune, and too many overly bright and upbeat harmonies that are nails on a chalkboard. Brown's lyrics are never ear-catching and don't showcase any insight or wisdom of the world. Just expect to hear the lyrics of a 15-year-old, the average student, presented in a ass-kissing vocal performance slathered in that disgraceful autotune. The worst case of this gripe plows full speed in the 8th track. Damage. Help Me is another shitty song. It's the most repetitive one in this album. There's also a ballad called I Wanna Be, but it's hardly different from the rest, because Chris sings the same way in all the other songs and the piano melody is pathetic. I was already sleeping by the time Lottery, the closing track, came on, and at this point he's driven the seducing women gag straight into the anus of Satan's lair. There's bonus tracks, including one with that other tool bag, Kanye West, but I couldn't bother to go any further. If you're more interested in instrumentation than vocals, don't even bother. The drums suck, and are too smooth sounding. There's not even any guitars in any of the songs. All the keyboard sounds going one ear and out the other and have done before and better by better artists. The rappers are pointless. The musicality is bland, uninspired, and lyrically, it's the same thing over and over. He's going to sing in that whiny, almost emo voice and say a bunch of bullshit that's supposed to seduce women. With all this effort into a record of pissing and moaning about what he's going to do in a relationship with some hot chick, why does he go for Rihanna? What's strange about this whole drama is that Chris Brown isn't even serving jail time, because his fans demand that they want their asses beat too, before he gets sent to jail. Overall, this album is a mediocre piece of shit. It's worse than Rihanna's album, and has nothing important to say, but unfortunately, Chris Brown is a millionaire, because record executives are smoking crack out all orifices of their body. This album would be a bestseller at a sleep clinic, exclusively. If you listen to Chris Brown, you are a fucking moron.